Hello guys and welcome to Watching Time. So today I'm going to do a very special video because it's the end of the year. I wanted to do a kind of review of the full watches of several brands. I was thinking about this idea for a little while, but it becomes complicated taking into consideration the amount of brands, the amount of watches, and at the end of the day, this is my opinion, my personal opinion. And it's the same wherever you're going to be looking for the top brands of 2022 or the top launches. So I decided to do a little bit something different. I decided to evaluate the brands and the watches from 2022 based on how much the brand was willing to bet, how much they were willing to go the extra mile to actually review their line, play with colors, play with materials, and how much they risk actually in 2022, and if this was a win situation or it was a lose for them. So if we want to see that in that perspective, obviously I think it is easy to start thinking on the lower, let's say, price range brands because they have less to lose than the bigger price range. Usually brands like Rolex, for example, which is for me a mid-range price segment in watch horology, they play. Yes, absolutely. They play this year with a titanium watch. That's fantastic. But a watch I will not be wearing because it's just too big, even if it's in titanium. But still, they tend to play. You will see now and then the use of different materials. They were the first brand using meteorite dials, for example. You will see the use of other precious metals like platinum. That's great. That's Rolex. That's what they do usually. But if you evaluate how much they actually risk with models that were reinterpreted, well, we didn't see a Submariner with a ceramic case, for example. That would be actually them risking, and they have not done that. You see brands like Tudor, and they have played a lot with new launches, like, for example, the revamp of vintage Rolex pieces like the Tudor Ranger. That's excellent. That is something that we wanted, I bought it. But it's not really playing in the risky zone. That's actually playing in the safe zone. That's actually an intelligent move in a very, very safe zone. So I started to see the lower end brands and how much they play. Omega, for example. Well, with Omega, you have the reuse of oyster kind of inspires aquaterras with colors that are nice. Yes, but that's not playing. You're playing the safe zone still. You are just not innovating. They had a very interesting new model in titanium, for example, uh, for their new line of professional divers, and that's actually interesting. But it's also a watch that you are not going to be wearing as an everyday watch. So that puts them also in a very weird situation in which they are playing with materials, playing with watches, but in an area that it's already a niche. It's already a very, very, very small group of persons that will actually buy that and use that. So then I started moving into brands like Timex. And Timex play this year. The relaunch of the Waterbury line was quite interesting with their automatic pieces, but also with the chrono pieces like this one that plays a lot between Daytona and Zenith El Primero, with the use also of colors in the sub-dials. And I thought this is actually quite interesting. They are revamping some of their watches. But collaborations like this on this expedition that actually brought the new expedition line, because this came first, that the new expedition Timex expedition line in titanium, and it was the collaboration they did with James, and this is actually the second collaboration. So they tested it first in 2021. In 2022 they relaunched the collaboration with the titanium expedition case white dial, and then they decided to relaunch their new line of Timex expedition. Movement is the same piece of shit, sorry, that they tend to use, very reliable, but maybe in the future Timex can start improving their movements. That is something that I would like to see them moving from too. At the moment, they are improving the use of materials on watches and styles, and that's already something very, very positive to say on the brand. And then we have brands like Tissot that play a lot on the integrated case. I think one of the best mainstream brands that actually managed to pull this out in a very, very successful way. With the PRX, I just switched the metal stainless steel bracelet with this leather that I bought second on Tissot, and I think this actually really, really worked. And they launched in 2022 the chronograph movement piece that is actually very interesting. I actually like it, but probably the second place, if I want to do a classification, is actually the very bold move that Omega did with Swatch. I don't like it. I don't agree with them. I think they have actually play on collectors and persons, but I can and I will accept that they actually created a very good marketing strategy that probably has relaunched both brands and the Speedmaster line. And the use of plastic materials that is bioceramic has been definitely interesting. The color wave that they did for this Omega Speedmaster swatch, moon swatch, how they call it, it is something that definitely puts them in a classification of top risky moves in terms of brands. But then, and I don't want to make this video long, it takes us back to a brand that I love already, that I am a collector for many years, and that's why you see a summary only of my Super Sea Wolves. I don't show other pieces like Olympus, even vintage, or the new ones that I have, or the Grand Rally, or for example the Astrographic. Yes, the Astrographic, also very interesting, from Zodiac. But I'm going to be focusing on the Super Sea Wolf. This is the state of the collection of all my Super Sea Wolves. So it's not a small number, as you can see. I have a big variation in terms of colors, materials, but why Zodiac? For me, it's the #1 brand in 2022 in terms of how well they play and went into playing into risky areas. And the first reason for that is that they actually play with a lot of risky materials. I think it is the only brand that tried everything in 2022. That puts them in a very, very interesting position. And why I'd say this? Because first of all, they relaunch a new line of Super Sea Wolf, the Super Sea Wolf Pro Diver, a total new line, a modernization of the classical, the more classical Super Sea Wolf. Here we see the limited edition for Grimaldi that was inspired in their classical Super Sea Wolf case, to a modernization in terms of characteristics, but also diving capabilities. And this is the Super Sea Wolf Pro Diver. And what they did here is bring out a modernization of the line, bringing it up also in size to 42 millimeters, bringing a series of classical Zodiac colorways, but very interesting. For example, this is the full lume dial, and all of these watches have also, almost all except for one, the black one, have a full lume also bezel, but they brought a chronometer certified Celita movement inside, but also an ISO certification to each of these watches. And I think this is already a very bold move, playing with the line that you already have, that people love, that people are following you for, the Super Sea Wolf, revamping it to a modern key and bringing it back with certifications and characteristics that makes it go into the next level of modernization. 300 meters water resistant, passing from the 200 that they usually have in the normal line. This was the first bold move, and they could have stopped there. I think they could have just stopped there, but they did not. The first thing that they did was bring out the first titanium Zodiac watch. And this is part of the the Pro Diver line, and it was just fantastic. The colorway, the dial, the colors. And in December, so just a couple of weeks ago, they actually brought up a newest addition to the Pro Diver, and it's also a first time also a GMT watch, left-handed. So this is too new, and I have not bought it, so it's not part of my collection yet. So it is a left-handed. This is the first time they have a left-handed in the line, in the new 2015 onwards line, but also the first time they have a GMT movement in the recently born Pro Diver line. So that's, that's them being bold, moving forward, using new materials, and already there we had a lot of things going on. What happened next? That in November, they actually launched the first full ceramic case and bezel Super Seawolf in this very nice blue dial colorway with this very nice and shiny ceramic case, the use of the tropic strap with Italian rubber. I think this works perfectly, and you can immediately also see that the case looks bigger than the other. I mean the case, because the bezel is exactly the same, but the case looks bigger than the other Super Seawolves. And you are correct. The case is actually almost 2 millimeters bigger than the other normal Super Seawolf cases. Why? Because, and this is the first time that I see it done in watches, they don't have a full ceramic case. It's not full because actually inside, even if the case cover, let's put it that way, it's full ceramic, inside it has a skeleton stainless steel case that they have developed in order to increase resistance of the full ceramic case. So this is why they say they have done this. It's also going to be lowering the price because obviously it's not the same amount of ceramic, but this is the first time, first times, ceramic case and also this type of ceramic case that it's actually kind of a ceramic case cover around a stainless steel skeleton. I think here, wow, Zodiac really was playing with innovation, pieces, etc. But the other thing is that they brought their Super Seawolf to a space era. They launched 3 models. Actually, I think the last one was not launched yet, which is the inner bezel blue coloration. But they launched 3 watches with a full meteorite dial. Guys, this is fantastic. They are innovating in the use of materials, so it's the first time that there is a meteorite dial in the Super Seawolf line, bringing a little piece of space back to your wrist in a brand that you already love if you like Zodiacs. And the colorway on this full gray gunmetal graphite edition, as I call it, because it gives you the full sensation like this is a graphite piece that you're actually wearing, with this very nice gray that tends to go a little bit into blue. I think they managed to pull it out in an excellent way. So that's it, guy. Well, there are other interesting pieces like the GMT for Panam that just here. They are always innovating with limited editions. Probably one of my best limited editions of a couple of years ago, last year, was this for Worn and Wound, inspired on 90s sneakers. I think this was, this is fantastic. If you might not love it, you might not like it, but you have to accept that this is a very bold move. And 2022, I think they just concentrated bold move in their lines. This is one of the first Super Seawolf relaunches that they did, models from 2015, 2016. Very interesting, as you can see already, the Super Seawolf Compression 53, inspiration in the line, and the improvements. Zodiac, and I still need to contact them about this. They say that their older watches are interchangeable and you can actually change it and put it in any of their other watches. And now with the new models having the quick release, it's much easier. But the reality is, guys, that these watches, these models, you cannot interchange the stainless steel straps. Somehow, and I will contact them because they say it should in theory, but it's not. You cannot fit the stainless steel bracelets from the newer models. The holes on the pins in the locks, they don't match exactly the position that the others ones have. So it's just a matter of 0.5 millimeter, but you don't get to fit one of the new straps on these, let's say, older models. It's a pity because I would have loved to see this one, for example, with one of the stainless steel straps. I would have loved to see how it worked. But anyway, that's something that it's just part of the story. So guys, what do you think? I really hope I have on this video brought to you a little bit of a summary of what I thought was the 2022, and not just concentrated on a very nice brand that brought a lot of pieces, but also like to risk in 2022. So I'm really looking forward for 2023 and see what they're going to be doing. But from a collector's perspective, I can tell you guys that Zodiac is winning terrain very, very quickly. And I see and foresee that there will be an increase probably in their prices, in their retail prices, but also with time, the second market of Zodiac is already increasing. Pieces are limited most of the time. It is still being managed kind of like a micro brand with all these limited edition pieces, but even the mainstream watches that they produce, the production is still limited. So getting one of these, it's always a little bit tricky. Not every country has retailers, but I can tell you and assure you guys that it's a history brand that brings a lot back for your money. So if you want to invest in a watch that is going to be quite interesting in the future, because they are moving forward in a very interesting way, and I really hope they don't burn this, it is Zodiac. So go for it. Anyway, guys, see you in 2023. Wish you all the best for 2022. And I really hope that 2023 comes with a lot of watches in your wrist. Until then, see you in our next video. Take care.